Cleveland, USA, June 25th, 1957. After 15 years of work, prayer, and study, there comes into being a new church.
Cleveland in June of 1957, we look forward to with great anticipation. We met in downtown Cleveland. We were mostly men. There were few women, hardly any minorities. We marched down Superior Avenue, across the street, and into the music hall in Cleveland, and took our seats, and that's where the merger was consummated.
Obedience to the will of God makes the church cry out, racial justice now.
Ben Herbster, who had been elected the first president in 61, the 63 General Synod was his first synod to really be seen. It was at that synod that the last of the major problems facing the United Church of Christ had to be dealt with, and that was the location of the headquarters. I was elected to that committee. I was young. I was naive. They elected me chairperson, and I was stuck with it. When I appeared to make my report in the Palmer House in 1965, they waited with bated breath, and then I made my report, which was that the headquarters would be New York City. The 60s were a painful period in our country. And there was unrest, there were riots, and the church had to face that. We had developed a black caucus. That's where Charlie Cobb came into the picture.
I was able to show the church that it didn't have to fear us. All it had to do was support us in the struggle that we had been making for 400 years.
One of the first movements of the church was to develop the Committee for Racial Justice. The second was to elect me as secretary of the church. In 1969, the synod was meeting in Boston. The nominating committee looked around and came up with Dr. Robert Moss, president of Lancaster Theological Seminary.
The church must give its support to those who are against war and who will make the effort and take the personal risks necessary to wipe it out.
Bob was a great president. In 76, early in the year, he became ill, and we knew it and had to deal with it in our office. Well, the rules of the Executive Council are that the secretary, in the incapacitation of the president, shall become the acting president. That was a very difficult period from April till October when he died. It so happens that the Executive Council was scheduled to meet right after Bob's death and funeral. One of the first things the Executive Council did was to set up the machinery for the election of the president. My name was the first name that came up. But Helen Barnhill, the chair of the Executive Council, came out of the meeting of the Executive Council. She approached me. She was smiling. I said, "Oh, my God, it's me." She informed me that I had been elected the third president of the United Church of Christ. I just want the United Church of Christ to work at diversity. We need to relate to the community. Then I think we need to bring the tough issues of society to the attention of the members of our church. I just want the United Church of Christ to be a great church.
Thou biddest me come to thee, oh Lamb of God, I come, I come, hey, I come.
I am Carol Brown. As 13th National President of United Black Christians of the United Church of Christ, I conceived this scholarship to enshrine the legacy of Dr. Evans in the United Church of Christ, and also to provide scholarship funds for second and third year seminarians with a demonstrated passion for justice. Join me in donating regularly to the Evans Fund. Put it in your budget. Give generously. If we all work together, the fund will grow annually, and we can support those who are on the front lines of justice.